Okay, so after a long-awaited wait on building this ATV, we're finally going to get into building the independent rear suspension carrier. I would first off like to thank everybody that is a subscriber and who is watching these Outlaw videos, because I can see by the number that these are not popular videos. However, if you wouldn't be watching these videos, I really wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing. So what had happened is, after I decided to work on this quad, these rear shafts, basically I'm crunched for time on finishing this project. I need to get this project done. I can't say a whole lot right now, but there's hopefully some real big things coming in the future, but I need to get this ATV at least running so I get it out of the garage. So on these rear shafts, I was going to go through it and we were going to rebuild everything to the CV joint here all the way back to the rear carrier. And what I decided to do is I just bought new ones. So I'm lucky enough that with my YouTube monthly check, I can afford new ones. So yeah, that's going to cut this video series by about two videos here. So we're going to go over to the wood bench and I'm going to explain to you on these new ones. And I haven't opened the box on these new ones yet, so hopefully these new ones will match these, and then we'll just go from there. Okay, so I'm trying to get in the shot here. Not real sure what I've got a new camera system. I'm just so limited for space here. I can't do what I need to do with the space that I have. It's just driving me nuts. So, God. Anyway, so I already pulled one of these out of the box. And what we're going to use is we're going to use the ATV parts connection. A lot of you, if you've looked at these Halfshafts, you know exactly the company that this is. This is basically one of the only companies that you can get the actual bearings for the rear end. And I think the rubber mounts will come with the kit. So these internal bearings for the carrier that you see here on the shelf, a lot of times when you buy these, you'll get the rubber kit also. So just keep that in mind when you're looking to replace these. A lot of people, basically the big deal with these ATVs is the click. Everybody that I've been reading on the forums, their rear end starts to click. What I've noticed working on this Outlaw is Polaris built, I mean, that KTM 525 engine, I'm watching pictures on the internet of stock 525s blowing away 700 Raptors and 700 Hondas and everything. But the rear end of this ATV is basically, they didn't make it for maintenance. They made it to where, yeah, it's good when it's sold off the showroom floor and everything, but you know, 10 years down the road, you know, all that grease is dried up and everybody's starting to have problems with their rear end. So a lot of the rear end problems that I would say is that these internal bearings, once the grease starts to lose its greasiness, it scores the internal of the carrier here. And one of the other things is the internal bearings as well, which I have a great video, check the playlist on disassembling this rear end. That playlist will really help you out if you're going to do some of this. Is that the internal of this carrier can get wore in the lines, and once it starts wearing down and there's no grease that's doing its job in there, you really have no option but replacing it. And the problem is that Polaris isn't making, I looked up last night, I believe they make this external housing, and they make, I think this one comes off. They make this external carrier housing, but they do not make the internal housing anymore. It's a specialty machine things, and if yours is wore out, you really don't have any options but to go to eBay and buy one used. So if you're starting to get some clicking noise or something's going on in the rear end, you really need to service these things. Or you're going to have a quad that basically is going to click and possibly destroy itself once the bearings go. So, but anyway, let's go down here. I'll get the view changed and we'll kind of compare this new set to the old set here. and then we'll start installing our new, you know, I'm not even sure what they call these new bearings onto the shafts and get these things ready to be installed into the main housing here. Okay, so what we have here is, well, here's the old shaft and here's the new one. What I'm looking for is that these things, I hope, are at least the same length. Sometimes when these things are machined and a company produces these, they're not necessarily the same. I've run into this on foreign cars. I had a Saab one time that I was buying parts off of the internet, and yeah, they manufactured the parts, and that the list will say that they work for those cars, but the parts actually aren't compatible. So I'll be honest with you, I think these are machined perfect. I would say they're different metals, but they actually seem a little, this one seems just a little bit lighter than the OEM one. And it appears to just be a little bit thinner, which actually, if you're racing, you might have just cut some weight off of your, what's called rotating mass. And you know, when you're four-wheeling, you're not really necessarily looking to cut weight off your rotating mass, but on a street bike or a car, you definitely are, because any weight that you can cut off the rotating mass will help the engine and the vehicle move faster, as long as you get the power to the wheels. So everything looks legit. So we're just going to go ahead and get the new bearing installed here. I just want to check something real quick on the bearing. We'll have to remove that because I've got another set of them when I bought the other kit. Because I need to make sure that that's gonna, and these are more than likely, these aren't gonna slide. Oh my God, these should not have slid on there. These should have had to have been pounded on there. And these are the new ones. Well, this video ain't gonna be very long. These are the old ones. These would have been your Polaris OEM ones, and they're not tight either. What is going on here? I watched another video where a guy on the internet, you wanna know why he pounded those on there? Because he didn't take the goddamn clip off, is why. He pounded them over the clip. Oh no, see, that would require, oh, no wonder why people are having problems with doing this. These bearings are actually from this supplier of the ATV parts connection. So they've actually machined the threading of the shaft just a little bit more, so you could just put these on and get that snap ring or that circlip on there. Oh my God, this is gonna make it so much easier. You guys have no idea. Okay, so yeah, I thought I was gonna have to beat on this thing. Oh, the stainless steel. Okay, we get new clips with the kit, new rubber, and this will be my stainless steel ring to go around there. I've got some other tools that I kind of don't like these. We might end up putting so I'm gonna have to lube this up, but I need to make sure on this carrier that these pieces, see, this is where you end up ripping your rubber boots, because this rubber eventually, this is pretty hard rubber, and this thing has to go in there, and then the snap ring goes over it. What we're gonna do is, I've actually got some firearm lube here, and I'm just gonna spray the shaft down. just so we can have a little bit of grease on this to get this to slide onto the shaft. To make sure that it's not just completely dry. And that should help ease the installation of this a little bit. Of course, it's going to make a mess. There we go. So I'm just going to move it all the way forward here, and we will come back and put this final ring on once I get this installed onto the carrier. We're going to build this whole carrier system back, and then after this is all together, then we're going to put it back on the quad. So there's going to be a couple videos on this. Real quick, it's vitally important that these get installed properly back into the carrier. So our shaft is this way. We're going to want the face that is on the edge here is going to go toward the outside of the quad, and you're going to want this indentation here because we need to, you know, basically put our snap ring back on. It's not a snap ring, it's a circlip. So now we will put our circlip on. And now what we're going to do is we have our circlip here, and we're just going to try to force this back on. This might be harder to put back on than I think, but I've got to go get my tools here. This is going to be a little tricky to do this. And we might have to come back and pound on this. That's probably why the other guy doing his video had this on a vise, and he beat the circlip on. To the part. And if you're going to do this, help support the channel and buy the parts from the links below. Every little bit's going to help me kind of try to get into a new shop. I also am working really hard on my website, trying to get it up and running. And don't forget to check the website out when it's there. There's also going to be used parts on there from projects that I work on. And there's going to be some real high performance stuff going on. This website and me coming out with my own tool or my own parts was not an easy task to do. And I'm not begging you, but if you watch these videos and all this information you're using is free, consider making a purchase through the website. It'll really help me out. Look at that. Okay, so that's pretty much it on installing these onto the shaft. I just can't believe how easy that was. So yeah, if you want to save some time, use the links below for these parts. It looks like these are pretty much OEM quality parts. I'll put the Amazon link below if you want to save some time. If not, If you're all the way into this process, you need to go ahead and rebuild this part and come down here and do the whole shafts on your shafts. If you're this far into it, I'm telling you, what's going to happen is you could take care of the rear carrier and get you down the road, and then all of a sudden you got problems up in the front. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out the playlist on some other things, and I'm going to go to the computer. I'm going to take this off, and then I'm going to come right back out here, and we're going to try to get the rear carrier together.